Secret friends, unite!
Welcome to the Secret Friends Unite podcast, episode 113. I'm your host, Todd Geeked, and we are bringing you all that's fit to geek in the world this week. I'm joined by Lisa Goodman.
Hello. I'm kind of low energy today, but hopefully we'll perk me up.
We will. We have fluffers in the background ready for you.
Woo! Yay!
And the other member of the trio, Charlie Carden.
The other, saving the last for last. I've got the music in me. I've got the music in me. Jazz hands.
We're like the poor version of Peter, Paul, and Mary.
Right, exactly. Leaving on a jet plane.
Who's the most like a Peter? Oh.
Not me.
I was going to say, who the top of whose head most resembles a Peter?
Not mine.
Nope, I've got all, yeah. So anyway.
Yes. So on this week's episode of the podcast, we'll be going through the news. We'll then check out what we're geeking out about in our favorite establishment, the GeekEasy. But without further delay, Madam Web, take it away, baby.
Now it's time for Madam Web's Rumors and News. Take it away, boys.
Thank you, Madam Web. Well, I don't know about you, but it's gardening time, so you can go out and get in your garden, listen to our podcast, and you can hang out with Sunil and give us bad reviews.
Oh, I was going to say weren't you the one talking to me about poking the bear? That's probably not a good.
It's a shout out, right? It's a shout out.
I don't think he would like being called a bear. He's not hairy enough to be a bear.
Yeah, he looks like he could be. He's got that beard. That delightful beard.
He's pretty sleek.
Oh boy, this conversation is going to dark places. So anyway, what do we got?
Well, we've got some TV news, and these two stories actually kind of go together. It's kind of a unique fit and look at sci-fi on TV, network TV specifically. Well, I guess you'd call Star Trek Discovery, I guess, an app-based TV show? I don't even know. It's too confusing.
Yes.
But regardless, it's
not traditional TV.
It's untraditional, correct. We have basically
something about that on this podcast, being untraditional.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, we've got two new shows coming out that are sci-fi based that are, attached to a mainstream network per se, which is bizarre because that has not happened in a long time. When was the last time we actually had a sci-fi based, like in space type of TV show on a network?
Homeboys in Outer Space? No, a network.
No, like NBC, Fox, CBS.
Yeah. The big five, if you will. Well, four. Okay.
I'm not very bright. You guys should know that by now.
It's okay.
Oh well.
We keep you for your lovely locks. Lisa.
I was supposed. Before you came along, I was the stupid one.
I know. See, this.
Oh boy. Okay, so
we have news about basically trailers for two new series that are coming out. The first, Charlie, Star Trek Discovery, finally released a trailer.
You thought it was never going to happen, but my goodness, when it comes to Star Trek, when we get a first look, it produces more questions than it does answers. So we got a lot of questions out of this clip. I think the overarching thing to keep in mind is that only two of the characters we saw on screen are even regular cast members. And the captain of this vessel, which is the Shinzao, Captain Philippa Georgiou. They were really digging for names, and she's Asian because it's Michelle Yeoh. So they were really going all over the place for names for this one. She is not. She's not a main character on the show. So this gives one the feeling that her vessel and her and a lot of her crew are not going to be with us perhaps at the end of this episode. But our main character is played by Sonequa Martin Green, late of The Walking Dead, as Lieutenant Commander Michael Burnham. So I love that. I love a woman named Michael. So that's a hot take.
Oh, God.
That's a hot take.
That's what I've decided.
I like pizza. Hot take.
Charlie likes a manly woman.
Manly, handsome woman.
Hot take.
I think as we've
He
learned.
used that
Handsome.
last time.
That's
yeah.
right.
Handsome woman. Yes, a woman described as handsome. But anyway, you get to meet her. You get through some of the flashes of this. You do get the new portrayal of Sarek, who is Spock's father. Now, this is putting us before Enterprise, before Kirk and Spock. To me, I'm not certain if that means it's a 10-year time interval. Is it 10 years before Kirk and Spock, or is it 10 years before the Enterprise, which was 20 years before Kirk and Spock? So is this, in fact, 30 years before the original series? That's a possibility that I don't think the nerds are kicking around. So I'm curious, because the Enterprise had been around for 20 years by the time we had the original series. Before that, it was captained by Captain Pike, which, again, we're getting a little granular here. But anyway, a lot of unanswered questions, which is cool. This is a show we're not getting till the fall. So we have we nerds can retire to our nerderies for our little nerd-like internet speculations between now and then. To determine really what is going down. But we got a take of him. Doug Jones's character was the other one that we saw, but we didn't see characters that are going to be portrayed by regulars. Will be Anthony Rapp. I think Jason Isaacs is going to be the captain of the Discovery. We did not see him. So we got a lot of flashes, and we got some really scary as hell looking Klingons. Amped up, big bone looking outfits and big sarcophagus.
Body shaming the Klingons?
I think I'm body complimenting the Klingons.
Complimenting.
Here's a hot
thing. Where do
here's
I
a hot
sign up
take.
for that?
Those are some hot Klingons. I mean, do you think? Kind of hunky with the
Hot
stuff and the
Klingons?
other stuff?
I mean, they're Klingons.
Yeah.
They look wonky. That's the best way I can say it.
I love
Well, there was a suggestion that these may be some ancient mummy-style Klingons, and that's why they look so different. I can accept that.
Because they look like they look like Genghis Khan in the original series. That's what they looked like.
Right.
And then
Manchu.
And then they obviously changed and got the weird, stuff on their foreheads.
And that's all been canonically explained.
Yeah.
I'm not
I
gonna
hate
get
when I get the
into
weird
it.
stuff on my forehead.
But yeah, but quite honestly, and this, Charlie, this is set 10 years before Kirk's 5-year mission. That's what I found out when I looked it up.
All right. You see,
Did he just fact check you?
I read the same thing, but in the 10 years before, it's because 10 years before Kirk's 5-year mission, Pike was on the Enterprise. The uniforms looked a certain way, the style looked a certain way. So pushing it further back to me would make more sense. But we're going to find out. Stylistically, it's a jam between Enterprise and the Kelvin, the vehicle USS Kelvin, which you see at the beginning of the 2009 Star Trek film, which everybody who's familiar with that film knows that's where the divergent paths in the movies and what we had previously known as the television series, that's where that divergence happened.
If you can see my phone, they've actually created a timeline picture.
Oh, well, you better send me that image.
Yes, so basically they're saying Pike is 2250, this is 2255, the original series is 2265.
2255 actually puts it 100 years after the end of Enterprise.
Yes.
Nice round number.
So there you go. So within 5 years between this show and the original series, seems like a lot of things change. I mean, when I was in the Air Force, they changed our uniforms a little bit. Seemed like every 10 years based on the general that came in and said, I don't like this, change this. And the Navy now has blue camouflage, which makes no sense because camouflage, once again, unless they're looking like water, who cares?
Right. My same thought was if you look at any branch of the service, there are many, many variations across many, many different branches. Even in the United States, our 5 branches of the military have all these different. The Navy has whites, but then they've got darks for this season and that season. And some uniforms have hats, and some uniforms don't have hats. So why wouldn't there be these different uniforms?
Well, in the Navy, you can't wear white after Labor Day. Yeah.
That's where that comes from.
That's right. But you get court-martialed if you are found guilty of a fashion.
You'll
Crimes against fashion.
That's right.
You'll get jagged. Harmon
Yes.
Ramp show up.
You are judged by a jury of fashion peers.
Flying lawyers.
Oh wow.
But even comparatively in the Star Trek movies, which again separate universe, they had a ton of different uniforms within the same film. So I've got one outfit to do this one. So the uniform thing is not so much of a hang up. The different styles, this stylistically, the bridge of the ship looks super different. It could be that ship was brand new, and the Enterprise we saw in the original series was really old. It was 20 years old, and they had never updated it, so it looked like crap. Other ships looked better. So think about it that way. We'll see. Anyway, it's all the window dressing when you're a Star Trek nerd like me. You pick. But I think the answers will come. So I'm engaged. I'm in for the ride. I like the new uniforms. I thought that I was trying to figure out the ranking systems. They now have little ranking pips on the Starfleet symbol on their chest. They do like the little Next Generation circle dot. That's what they have.
They're like the backup singers, the Pips.
Right.
I met Gladys Knight and the Pips on a plane once when I was a kid.
Was she nice?
I don't remember. I was like 3.
Oh.
She was like, 2 of the Pips were great, and the third one was an asshole. But don't forget, never forget, circle, dot. Now you have a cootie shot.
There you go.
That's all I have to say about that.
So enough about fashion. The trailer. Lisa, what did you think, considering you're really not a Trek fan? But, I mean, this is new. So what was your reaction?
Considering I'm not a Trek fan, then I will certainly say that I didn't get into the granular dissection that Charlie did. I mean, it looks interesting. I like the people they showed. I mean, I like Michelle Yeoh, or whatever her name is. I like the chick from The Walking Dead. Go female characters. But I was never
WOC, women, which was, I had to look it up, women of color.
Right, that is, just like POC, people of color.
Right.
And you know what? I'm all for anything that's more diverse. We need more diversity in media. We all know that.
It's funny. Somebody, of course, you have fanboys of the world bitching about that. Star Trek is the show in the 1960s that really started diversity on television. Am I mistaken?
No.
When you put a female black
Star
character...
Trek was way ahead of its time.
Yeah. Female black character, male Asian character... you had a character who was pretending to be Russian, a character that was doing a fake Scottish accent, and an alien. But
Sulu was pretending to be gay or straight.
Yes, exactly.
We love you, George Takei.
That's right. He's 80 years old now. Holy cow!
I love him.
I know. Well, Shatner is in his late 80s now.
Oh,
so
my God.
holy cow!
Yeah.
But I mean, Star Trek invented diversity. So give me a break. You're going to bitch about diversity? Come on.
No, I mean, I think it's cool to me. That was one thing that stood out to me is Star Trek was so far ahead of its time in terms of dealing with, social and political things and with the diversity. So it's nice if that's like a kind of a callback, right?
For sure. I'm down. No, I mean, I'm going to be all about this all summer long. So get ready to be bored to shit with my Star Trek talk because it ain't stopping anytime soon.
Okay, well, we're bored with you most of the time, so it's okay.
Yeah,
I love you too.
I would say for a Star Trek show, this is kind of taking some pieces in regards to the way it's filmed and the action piece. See, this seems like it's going to have a lot more action. Seems like it's going to be much more slick and updated looking. Versus if you think of like how Star Trek was filmed, it kind of always looked kind of boring. I mean, Star Trek visually always felt very milquetoast.
Static,
clean,
milk toast,
but bland. I mean, it's like everything was.
Right.
It was like a military vessel, though. I mean, in the military, you don't have the flare and things like that. But this one
flare, 37 pieces of flare.
Yeah, that's all you get to wear on your uniform is your flare. But I think it looks beautiful. It looks like it's not low budget. I was worried. Obviously, this is going to be a web or app-based series. They didn't cheap out on this, which is fantastic. And that's going to bring a lot of people in. So I'm hoping it's good, but once again, not exactly excited about a prequel again.
It's what we've got,
Well,
so
I'm a little worried too, just because this has been in limbo for so long.
Yeah.
Like it makes you not have confidence, right?
Well, I mean, to listen to the reports, they've been in consistent production for the last 3 or 4 months. So the show is being made. But they've just been a little haughty with the details, which is annoying particularly to people like me. So I feel you. I definitely know where you're coming from.
Well,
it's hard to have
you.
that. hard to have that excitement when it's all rumor and innuendo.
Well, especially when you
Right.
you lose your showrunner.
Yeah.
Brian Fuller, fantastic guy, really visionary. He's actually doing American Gods, so
Love him.
Yeah,
He does great
he's
stuff.
fantastic. He really is good. But he's basically he set the map and basically the Bible for the show, and he's got folks that worked for him that are running it now. So, but anytime you have somebody that leaves like that, it's going to take some time to shuffle, get everything right. And so far, the cast looks awesome, and I hope it's good. I really hope it's good. And hopefully, because it's called Discovery, not just because of the ship, I hope we discover things that are not just tie-ins to
Right.
next
Take the
generation.
story. Yeah.
I met
to just the
so-and-so's
universe.
grandfather. I met this. So,
Right,
I want
right.
new races. I want new challenges, new experiences that make
Well,
the
that's
show
the beauty of Star Trek. If you're really a nerd like me, there are different cartography maps, and like here's the Alpha Quadrant, which is the main part of it. All these different worlds, all these different systems, and each one of them having a different alien species. So much you can do. You never really have to be limited to, well, there's just the Cardassians, and there's just the Vulcans, and there's just the
Kardashians?
Klingons.
Yes,
Yes.
Kardashians.
Exactly.
It's scary that they created basically their own race in the future.
Yeah, they
Ugh.
did. And you know what? The Cardassian race, militaristic, arrogant, aggressive, very much like the Cardassians.
Yes.
Right.
Kind of scary.
Oh wow.
Even with the big, thick neck ridges and spoon heads.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Thick
Eerily
neck
the same.
ridges.
Good,
Now he's
Google,
body shaming the Kardashians.
Right. Oh my
Google
goodness.
it, and you'll see I'm true.
They've had
You'll
a lot
see-
of work done to remove those.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Oh wow.
Yeah, to keep the tails from growing back. So anyway,
Yeah, so I'm glad this show has signs of life. It's coming. It's not going to mystically disappear once you filmed a trailer, meaning you've actually filmed stuff. It's coming. Very excited.
Yeah.
This is a fall show. Hopefully they don't change timelines again, but they have episodes they're filming. They're in the bucket or the can, as they say, and we'll see that show coming out. Very excited for that.
the bucket can.
On the other hand, we have once again. I kicked off the news section. We talked about 2 episodes about space and sci-fi. We've got a show that kind of no one really remembered them talking about. I can't really remember the story, but
Not a thing.
Seth MacFarlane is making he's making Galaxy Quest the TV series. This is the best way to put it this way. This is a full-on budget sci-fi TV show with a sense of humor, but it's very much in the mold of Galaxy Quest. Kind of like playing off of tropes of sci-fi and making fun of them.
Right.
And quite honestly, he is a huge Star Trek fan. He said this before in the past, so this is my hope that he doesn't just play this as a Family Guy or American
Please.
Dad or a
I'm
show
so
like that.
scared.
So what I'm hoping is this is going to be it's going to be light, not gross. I
Right.
want light humor. I don't need it to be hilarious and slapsticky, but I like light humor, maybe with a little bit of drama. There might be drama in this. Who knows? The guy,
Right.
is very talented, regardless of his sense of humor. I think he's just milked that to a point, but he's very talented.
He's diverse. He's a singer. He's a dramatic actor. 2 actual Star Trek tie-ins to the show himself, because he guested in 2 or 3 episodes of Enterprise in the final season as an engineer on another Starfleet ship, and Penny Johnson-Gerald, who was Cassidy Yates on Deep Space Nine, Sisko's wife. So I think that's pretty neat. The uniforms look extraordinarily Star Trek. But it's nice that you said you're right, it's not a low budget. We're in sci-fi, so it looks goofy. It looks very legit. But my absolute terror, like you said, is that it's going to be Family Guy in space.
Ew.
And I gave up on Family Guy an awfully long time ago because it's disgusting.
Yeah, it's gross.
And I have a very raunchy sense of humor, but I was just permanently grossed out by Family Guy and just quit it because it just wasn't funny to me anymore. It was just nasty.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Lisa, this is once again, it's kind of Trek-like, but is there anything you find interesting with this?
Well, I agree. I don't want it to become Family Guy in space. I don't hate on Family Guy the way you guys do. Apparently, you're both like.
I mean,
you're very special snowflakes.
Well, I was a devotee of that show from the get-go. I remember it first aired. It was post Super Bowl, I think in 1999. I was my senior year in college. Oh man, I was so into it. I just thought it was the humor was really fresh and it was awesome. It got canceled, then it came back, and at the time that it came back, it was on a straight downward trajectory over 4 or 5 seasons where it was just not funny anymore. And it just marches on.
Okay, but not funny anymore is different than gross.
I find elements of both. It's so gross that it's not funny anymore. That's my take. That's my hot take. Ooh, bow.
Well, anyways, I do think that Seth MacFarlane, when he can restrain himself and not just resort to frat boy humor, has talent. So I'm hopeful about the Orville. I love Galaxy Quest, so I have no issue with that. Again, I agree with you guys. I don't want it to become Family Guy in space. That would be dumb. It wouldn't be worth watching, and I don't think that it would be successful either.
I guess, is he going to be voicing like a very weird, like, if Roger the alien showed up?
That would be awesome.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
Maybe
the best part.
The robot that you see on screen, the robot with the 2 blue eyeballs. Boop boop.
Yeah, we saw an alien that Blobby stepped through, which was kind of fun. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, he's on Family Guy. He has done Star Wars themed episodes, but I don't remember a lot of Star Trek elements. The lampooning and the flashbacks and those type of things they do.
The little quick asides they've done several. They had the cast of Next Generation on once. He did. But yeah, nothing like the full on parody of the original trilogy they did. No, nothing like that.
And I was just trying to figure out if they've announced like who's going to be writing this show. If there's people that have worked in sci-fi, or if they're just the same folks he's always used for his production, things like that.
Right. Like where is his backup coming from?
Who's actually behind this beyond him? Because that could tell us a lot about where this could go and maybe things to look for from the talent that's involved. It looks like it's Adrienne Palicki. I didn't expect her to show up on this show, but she's the first mate. So obviously we're not going to have a spin-off anytime soon of that Bobby character from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh,
she's on
I think we already knew that wasn't happening.
Yeah.
She's the first matey. Yar.
Yes, that's right. They wear pirate costumes.
Charlie just went full pirate.
Charlie. First rule, never go full pirate.
Now
he's doing full Santa.
Hey.
I don't know what he's doing.
Green Giant.
Hello, children. Never go full chef either. It's good to get some news about TV, because that's actually happening right now. They have all of the previews for TV that's coming out, what's being canceled. So I know we will be talking about that on a future episode. But it's good to see new shows coming out because it's always fun to see what's gonna get us excited this fall. But moving into games. Charlie, you actually have some game news you're excited about.
What?
It occasionally happens.
What?
Well, I have, I know. It's no big secret that I'm really not a gamer in almost any sense of the word, except when it comes to those Lego games. I would almost say I can't get enough, but Lego Dimensions took me to the place where I found that I could have enough. And I haven't really glommed onto the other most two recent releases, the Lego Undercover and the Lego City? So, Todd, what was the other one? There's been 2 this year.
Lego City and Lego Worlds. Lego Worlds.
Yeah, Lego Worlds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried that for a couple minutes, and I was like, I was good, and back it went. But we are getting a sequel to the Smash Hit. At least it is a Smash Hit to me, because it's a very special place in my heart. The Lego Marvel Superheroes from 2013. This was the first of the Lego games that I really fell in love with after I got a next-gen console. It was the Xbox 360 at the time. Or maybe that was last gen. I don't know. I don't know that stuff. But at any rate, it was an awesome game, so steepled in lore. It had an original story. This new game, which is going to hit us in November, is going to again have an original story, which we had an in-between Lego Marvel game, which was just a straight rip-off of the first few of the Marvel Cinematic Universe films, which got real old real quick. Where the original game, because it had so much variety and so many side quests and so many different characters, 120 characters and probably 150 characters here, that I'm over the moon about. This is one that I'll actually go out and plunk down the full cost to get it immediately, because I'm going to play it until I beat it, because I never beat the first film. There were 3 tasks at the end that in the 5 years that game has been around, almost 5 years that it's been around, I could never complete because they were so difficult. 2 air races and one with the go-karts that you had to make a go-kart jump and do all this different shit. Drove me mad. I eventually had to quit it because it was making me furious. So I've beaten subsequently almost every game that's come out. So beating this one will be an extra special treat for me. So I'm really looking forward to it. November of this year, November 2017, all original story. Looks like we've got a lot of elements and new characters that are a lot focused on the MCU, a lot focused on the comics, like Spider-Gwen and Spider-Man 2099 I'm seeing here. And for some reason, they have Captain America as a cowboy in this video.
Yippee-ki-yay.
Yeah, yippee-ki-yay. Well, if you look at just the screen grab of the video, the teaser trailer, in the lower right-hand corner, you had Captain America dressed up like a rodeo cowboy. I don't remember that. I remember Cap Wolf, but I don't remember Rodeo Cap. So maybe I'm not a real Captain America fan after all.
And Baby Groot looks like the gingerbread man.
Yeah, sure does. I like it. So I'm excited. So that'll be good. More to come on that. I'm going to play it to death, and I'll be giving you the play-by-play when we get there.
Okay. That was like Charlie's only game news ever.
That's right.
Yeah, that's
Don't get used to it.
No.
Yeah.
Don't get used to it.
And unfortunately, haven't announced if there will be any online co-op, because quite honestly, that's what I'd like to see still. Because Charlie
I don't get why they don't do it.
Yeah, Charlie and I could play together, or if your kids want to play with their buddies. I mean, it just doesn't make sense since it's a very co-op game anyways. And without Lego Dimensions, you don't have to worry about the little pieces and things. You just hop in or hop out.
There must be a reason, but then again, I mean, who knows? Maybe they're holding that back for an announcement at a later time. Maybe this will be the first one.
It could be, and thank God that this is an original story, so you can play with all of the elements of the Marvel toolbox versus just the MCU. Where that Lego Avengers game, I avoided it because I'm just repeating the same stuff I saw on the screen. I like this one; it's fun and new.
It got pretty boring pretty quick. The only thing that was fun is that they did have different hub worlds, including, Todd, I remember how excited you were at the time about the Barton Farm. That was great, wasn't it?
So iconic.
They called them iconic locations. Something you had Washington, D.C., you got to go back to New York City. My absolute favorite part about the original game was the expansive Manhattan walkthrough. Mm-hmm. All different nooks and crannies, and going in the subway and riding train and flying amongst the skyscrapers, and just a lot of fun stuff that I'm sure they're going to just ramp up in this new game. So I'm jazzed. Look at my jazz hands. I'm jazzed.
Woo!
And this is coming to Switch as well, but they said it might. They said it'll be basically released after Xbox and PS4 and PC. So not sure why it's coming later, but maybe because they want to fix some things. They had Lego Undercover released on Switch, and apparently had a lot of load time issues and things like that. So maybe it gives them a little more time to make sure that those little pieces are good to go for the Switch. But that's a perfect game for the Switch. It's fun. It's co-op combat with the kids, everything like that. Play with your parents or whoever on the go, and the Switch comes with 2 little joysticks, so you can play co-op right out of the bat. So
Joy-Cons.
How
dare you call them sticks?
Joysticks. Joy-Cons. Yes.
It's because he's got a stick up his butt.
Once again, shows.
No, I think he just got so excited talking about playing with you, Charlie, that he said stick.
Ooh, yes.
Ooh, oh my!
Play with me, Charlie. Do you want to play a game with me?
Wah, wah.
Oh well. So then, Lisa, we had some other news. I'm assuming you and the kids devoured this news about ARMS and Splatoon. There was a direct from Nintendo this week.
Yep, my son was all about it. He watched it. Obviously, they're doing the global test punch, I think is what they called it, right?
Yep.
Test punch?
Test punch.
Well, the Splatoon one was a test fire, which could have been a test splat, I suppose.
Yeah, test splat.
They're just trying to be clever, Charlie. You wouldn't understand.
It's too highbrow.
Games. The funny thing about ARMS, when we saw the very first Switch Direct, I thought it looked kind of goofy. So I wasn't super excited about it. It just looks it's like Rock'em Sock'em Robots, right?
Like Punch-Out, yep.
Yeah, it's like Punch-Out and Rock'em Sock'em Robots had a bastard child. Mm-hmm. I think it looks a little more interesting. They're amping it up a little. I'm not as jazzed as I would like to be about it. I mean, there's other games I would like for the Switch. ARMS, I think, is being pushed pretty quickly because obviously there's not a huge lineup for the Switch. It's not my first choice. I'd much rather have Mario Odyssey. Mm-hmm. But, it's interesting. It's cool. It's, I'm sure, going to be fun for a day. I'm just not that excited about it. Are you jazzed about it, Todd? Do you think it looks amazing?
Yeah.
This new information, the new players they showed, I think makes it more interesting to me, but I'm in your boat.
Well, that's how I felt, but not oh my god, I have to have it.
I mean, I could see this, though. If it's got 4-player multiplayer, which is kind of fun, two versus 2, which could be fun. And so, Logan and I could take on you and your son, and we could play against each other.
Down.
That could be fun, yeah.
It could be down, right? Let's be honest.
That's absolutely true. And once again, there's no voice chat, announced for this.
Right.
Yet, which is a pain in the butt.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I'm just not that excited.
Yeah, so this game is going to have to be a local game, I think, to make it the most fun. You're playing against each other. But yeah, it's I'm not big into multiplayer games because that's not the type of way I spend my time. I want to be playing a story-based game or something like that. And Nintendo has yet to release really a co-op campaign game. Zelda was solo. Splatoon will have a campaign, but it's going to be solo again. And Mario, from what I understand, what I liked about 3D World on the Wii U was co-op. It was a lot of fun. Odyssey looks to be a solo campaign again. I'm really missing out on a cooperative campaign type game. You can play with your friends and doing something together. So I think this will be fun for a little bit, but once again, they've added some extra.
Day.
Yeah, they've added a volleyball mode. They added a mode where you have to slam dunk.
Don't care.
Yeah, so I think this will be a rental just to try it out, see what it's like. But I don't really see myself buying this. It's why.
Well, my thing is it's a fighting game, really. I mean, at the end of the day, and there's so many better fighting games. I'd rather play Super Smash Brothers, especially on the Switch, than ARMS. The limited characters, at least in Super Smash, you can be so many people,
Yeah, it's 10 characters. These are all brand new. There's some fun variations, but a lot of them, if you looked at what they showed, and Charlie, if you're not familiar with ARMS at all, basically, you have these springy little arms, and your fists can have different powers that are flame-based, electricity charged thing. There's a boomerang. There's
that sounds like the classic Iron Man villain, the Mandarin, with the 10 rings.
Oh, sure, yeah, just like it. But it's kind of like just you team up and you punch the crap out of each other, and they did. And it's funny, Lisa, you'll get a kick out of this. The one character, Twintel, did you see her? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. People are going nutsoid about her because basically she's got a booty, and they showed it, and people are going nuts.
She's got a big old booty, yeah.
Oh yeah, and people are going nuts about it. But she uses her hair and drinks tea. Her hair actually punches, so it frees up.
I drink my tea and play with my hair.
Yes,
like Medusa from the Inhumans. See,
and she's like Lisa. Lisa's drinking tea, and she's got lovely hair. So,
I don't
have spring arms though.
No.
We will not speak to the quality of her booty because we don't know.
No, we've never seen it. She could be.
I don't have one.
Yeah, from neck down, we don't know what's there.
I had to tie myself to the chair because
she for all we know, she could just be feet underneath the line of the window there.
I could be a Cardassian.
You could.
She could be a Cardassian,
or like the Futurama heads. It's just a head in a glass.
Head in a jar, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, ARMS. If you're looking for something fun local to play, I think that's where this game plays heaviest in. But for me, the Splatoon 2 Direct that really was focused on the campaign got me more excited because for Splatoon 1, that was the mode I loved the most, was the campaign. I thought it was a lot of fun. They had bosses. The boss was a DJ, the main boss, and he was really fun to fight. So I think this is, once again, it's drawing and making a bigger campaign, but I wish it was co-op because that would be fun to play with my son.
Yeah, my kids are really excited about it. I think, the younger crowd is excited for ARMS. I'm just not that enthusiastic. I mean, you can tell I'm not Like, it looks fun, but I'm not head over heels about it. I'm not, like, champing at the bit to get it.
No. And this is Nintendo's first really new game specifically made for the Switch. They had 1-2 Switch, which we know is just kind of like a crappy minigame collection, but this is really the first game they've made specifically for the Switch, which has not been in anything else. Like Zelda was made for the Wii U as well. So that's why they're pushing it, because this is their new IP. It's out there. They really want this thing to grow and become big, kind of like Splatoon was on the Wii U, where that was really one of the first big new IPs they had, and that thing was wildly popular. It's huge in Japan. Splatoon 2, I think, will continue to grow and be big, and that's the game, I think, Lisa, that they're going to be launching voice chat with.
Yeah, I like Splatoon. I kind of can't wait for that one.
Yeah, there's new modes in Splatoon, so I'm excited about that. It's more than just paint the floor. They're doing a lot more with it, so very excited for that.
Paint the floor.
Yep, exactly. Make a mess. Have fun.
Mm-hmm.
But you can do the test punch next weekend and the weekend after that. It's opened up. It's not just like 1 hour like the test fire was, which is much better. So.
Yeah, they're doing 2 weekends, right? You said two in a row?
2 weekends, yeah. And the good thing about that is that this is probably your opportunity to find out if you really like the game, and then you can just say, we got enough of it.
Right.
It's free.
Test punch. I like to test punch some people.
Oh, well. Well, I think that takes us out of the news. We then are going to head over, check out some Yacht Rock in the GeekEasy.
This is Yacht Rock. Smooth rock classics from the 70s and 80s. Yacht Rock. Album out now.
The Yacht Rock is playing. We are hanging out in the GeekEasy. And for us this week, we've got a full roster of awesome for you. For me, I watched something really cool last night. Actually, with the whole family, we were sitting down with dinner. We're like, let's watch something different. So we watched part one of a documentary series on History Channel called Superheroes Decoded. The first episode was called Legends, and it was awesome. This is brand new. This just came out like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it was 2 hours long. And I love documentaries talking about, the creation and all the elements. But the cool thing about this was it's actually got the creators in it. It's got the people that have made movies. It's got Stan Lee, a lot of the directors of the movies. It's also got a lot of psychologists, historians, and really cool look at how superheroes, that genre, was created. A lot of the history of it with the creators and just how it adapted through time. And they did more of a historical view, basically. Superheroes were created with Superman, really, in 1938, but they go back to, like, even Zorro, the Scarlet Pimpernel, and characters like that kind of predated it, but this was kind of the original take. And their takeaway was superheroes are an essential American creation. Really, quite honestly, that they said it's just as American as rock and roll, all of these other things, jazz, all those things. Superheroes are, once again, comic books are American, and they have resonated with us as a culture. And because America is really one of the youngest countries in the world, they are our gods. They are our creation of, going beyond kind of like other cultures created gods, like the Romans and Native Americans and things like that. So it's this kind of cool look at kind of like we talk about American gods, Lisa. This kind of plays in that. It's really cool. Really well done, though. I really loved who they brought in. And they touched on a lot about the creators. And one of the coolest things that they talked about was Simon and Schuster basically created Superman. And I did not know this, that one of the best artists in comic books history, Neil Adams, who did one of the best runs on Batman. He's really acclaimed from the 70s. He learned about basically the fact that Simon and Schuster, who created Superman, were basically left penniless because of the creators' rights and things like that. So he was essential in getting those two creators basically in the front of news media, TV media, all across the board, and he was able to get them legitimacy. Every comic book movie you see that has Superman in it, you get a byline that says created by these characters. And it's fantastic. And they ended up getting health care and all these things provided to them. and it was awesome. I didn't know that. So I didn't know Neil Adams had that role in basically getting some comic book justice. And I also didn't know that one of the creators, Joe Shuster, his father was killed in a break-in at his tailor shop. And he lost his father at the age of 17 due to crime. So they said, essentially, in a way, superheroes were created because of a boy who lost his father and needed someone created superheroes basis on that story. I'm like, that's phenomenal. It's a great story. But I highly recommend this series. There's another one called The Rebels, which is the next part, which I have recorded, but it's on on demand, I'm assuming, probably on YouTube as well. But it's going to be more about the characters that were kind of breaking out of the norms. So this is awesome. You should definitely watch it if you have any curiosity. Logan watched it and he loved it, and he's 11 years old. He thought this was awesome. He learned a lot about things he had no clue about. So really
sounds very up my alley. I love
that's heavy. I'll check it out. Yeah,
I love documentaries, but also one of my favorite books ever is The Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay. So very much in the same vein. I mean, that's to me historical fiction where you took the actual history of something and then add, kind of a fictional story on top of it. And that's, if you've never read that book, it's completely about the birth of the comics industry and, that American dream, for lack of a better term. And if I love that, then I can't imagine I wouldn't like the show.
And I'm going to actually correct myself. It's Jerry Siegel, not Simon, because Joe Simon was the creator of Captain America.
There you go.
Yeah, so it's Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. Two poor Jewish boys out of Cleveland, Ohio, actually, is where they're from. Yeah, so...
very grassroots, yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. Other than that, just really quickly, I want to touch on a game I'm playing right now, which is called Injustice 2. This is the sequel to the original Injustice Gods Among Us, which was a fighting game with the DC characters. Surprisingly, though, this isn't just a regular fighting game. This is actually a fighting game with an awesome story. They actually made a comic book series out of this game because the story was so strong. They take... It's fantastic. It's so good, but it's basically like an Elseworlds tale where Superman went crazy because the Joker tricked him with Joker gas or something like that, in thinking that Lois Lane was the Joker. And Superman ends up killing Lois Lane, who was pregnant with his baby, Superman's baby.
Ouch! And then he just flips out, eh?
He does. He basically tries to clamp down on everything. So it's about those here, and this is an alternate reality. But then heroes from our Earth come in to stop him and help out the heroes on this Earth, and it's really good. And this is the sequel. And this time they brought in a villain to kind of align them all together, which is Brainiac.
I like Brainiac,
and it's awesome. It's really well done. The story is fantastic, and that's why I'm playing it for. I'm not playing it for the multiplayer, things like that, the one-on-one, because basically the storyline is told, and you play a certain character. Then you'll have your battle, and then they'll go on, and like one scene, it's Green Arrow and Black Canary, and you choose which one of you wants to fight like Gorilla Grodd. So it's kind of fun, and it's just the storyline goes from there. The fighting is fantastic. It's over the top. It's crazy. So, and that just came out now. It's on PS4, Xbox One, and PC. So if you're looking for something fun to play right now, it's awesome.
What was that?
Hello?
Hello?
Lisa,
Oops.
We can't hear you.
I think we lost you.
A video started playing. Hang on.
Okay.
Uh-oh. Turn it off!
Accidentally on a website that I had behind me.
Oops.
Behind your screen. Sorry.
Yeah.
And we'll edit back in 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah, so check out Injustice 2. It's awesome. It's a lot of fun, but I'm not good at it. So I'm just playing it for the story, and it's fun to beat up people. So there we go.
Get all that out.
That's right. Charlie, you saw me.
I did, and I'm going to go quickly because I want to hear more about Lisa's the adventures that she's going to tell us about. But I went and saw. We were celebrating on Friday night. My wife got a promotion and a raise that's going to be effective about a month from now, and I was just so excited. So I'm going to take you out and wined her and dined her, and we had a nice dessert at the Melting Pot. And then we said, why don't we go to the movies? Usually we see movies on Tuesdays. Everybody likes to make fun of me for the Taco Tuesday, but it was a Friday night and we were out. And so Alien COvenant came out this week that we're recording this. And so I'm like, well, let's just go see it. We'll go see it. We'll go check it out. Really not very different than any other Alien film. Got a bunch of stupid people, mostly white people. I don't know what it is about that. I don't know if it's a cultural thing. In space that get a distress call, and they can't all agree, but ultimately they decide to answer it, and bad things happen. This was, and I didn't understand this going in, a direct sequel to Prometheus, and I realized while I was sitting there that I remembered almost nothing about that film. I didn't remember what they were doing. I didn't remember how it ended. I just remembered at the end that somebody escaped, and I guess as it turns out it was, there's a little framing sequence in this where David, or the android, the synthetic as you were, played by Magneto, Mr. Fassbinder, is the tether character that puts the two movies together. They show you his creation, years past, and then they kind of jump forward to this mission. This movie, I would say, you get a lot more Alien in this than you did in Prometheus. Prometheus was kind of a mess. Hopefully I'm not speaking out of school. Has everybody seen Prometheus about 5 years ago?
Yep.
And your thoughts on that film?
It was convoluted and telling us about something we really didn't need to know. But the two characters that carried over was the lead female, and Michael Fassbender, because David was just a head. That was all that was left over.
Right, and she manages to fix him.
Okay.
The female character who was. I will not tell you how much she's in it. I will not tell you at all. I will tell you nothing.
So
nothing,
it is a sequel, because I was wondering, because it ended pretty badly for them, and
it really felt like that movie. And again, remembering almost nothing about it, it was tough to gauge the quality of the sequel. It was. I felt the story was pretty much more standalone. And again, with an Alien movie, you start out with 10 or 15 characters, and you're going to end up with only maybe 2 or 3 of them that in the end. And that's pretty much, I'm not going to lie to you, that's really how it goes down. There was a twist at the ending that I saw coming, and I wish I didn't. It was a great twist, but it was also pretty easy to pick out. But the twist itself had a twist that I didn't see coming, that I thought was pretty neat. So you got a twist within a twist, the first part of which was easy to figure out. The second part of it was a little more sinister, that I thought felt good in the end. So lots of stuff, lots of blood, lots of gore, lots of explosions, some nudity, which I always enjoy. I thought it was okay. I thought I would probably give it maybe a 6.5 or a 7 out of 10. Definitely worth watching. Head and shoulders above Prometheus, without a doubt.
So when you have a twist and a twist, does it get untwisted, or does it just become a knot?
I think it becomes more twisted
when you have like the headphones to your iPod, and it gets that twisted.
Oh, throw them away.
It's a throw it away twist.
Or like drawstring pants, where you can't get the knot undone, and you have to pee.
Yeah,
you're trying to fit it. You're trying to fit it.
No, and you're trying to pee.
You're trying to get your pants down. Yeah.
Then you have to find scissors, cut off the knot, and then you're like, "Crap, these pants are sucky now," and you throw them away.
These pants are sucky now. Now you have to throw them away. Is Todd's review of this movie? Hashtag Todd a movie that he hasn't seen. They're like drawstring. They're like drawstring pants.
But I can tell you, my buddy Brian just saw it. Today.
Yeah.
And I had asked him to give me a review, and his review, and I quote. So Brian, be thankful that I'm quoting you. Is he says, "My review is better than the last one, but can we stop making them now?"
I can't disagree with that at all. Can't disagree.
Once again,
disagree. That's actually perfect.
Stop making prequels to things. We don't need things explained to us. Our imaginations are better than what they can put on screen.
Mansplaining. It's your gender's desire to mansplain everything.
But was this really a prequel? Because it was a sequel to a prequel. So doesn't that make it just a sequel?
It's still a prequel to the movies we
A middlequel?
like.
A nyquil?
A midquel.
Yeah.
A nyquil.
A dayquil.
Yeah, right. Depends on when you see it. It's a dayquil or a nyquil, depending on the time of day.
Prequel.
Yeah, I think I'll wait. I'll wait and see it when it's like on cable.
So you know what? It's definitely Taco Tuesday quality. If you happen to be into such things.
And
Excuse me. Everything to you is Taco Tuesday quality. Yeah, that's
you know
not
what?
even like a thing.
You know what? I would say almost. There are definitely some movies I won't see, but
Really?
yeah.
You sure?
Well, I haven't gone to see Furious 8.
You saw Chips.
Exactly.
I did see Chips.
Something tells me Furious 8 was probably better than Chips, Charlie.
You know what? I just don't know if that's true.
You'll never know.
You lost
yeah.
the ability to pretend that you have any discerning taste when you went and saw Chips and paid to see it.
You know what? It's one movie. Like, you've never seen a bad movie in theaters.
Chips
Number
is like
one.
the definition of an airplane film. Like, there's nothing else to do, and it's the only thing on, so you see it. But you
You're
actually
enclosed metal
sought
tube
out
with the sky.
trying to see the movie on the plane.
You know what? You're somewhere, somehow, Michael Pena knows you're talking about him and trashing him, and he's pissed.
Maybe we should just pick the movie for Charlie to see on Taco Tuesday from now on, Lisa. We'll just pick
That'd
for
be
you.
awesome.
Well, you can talk. You can talk to my wife about that because I don't know how she's going to feel about it. But
I think you
fine.
make her see these things. I don't think she.
I was going to say, I think she'd be thankful to be saved from the likes of...
Is that one of those blink twice if you need to be rescued?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
We'll see.
Because
Fine.
she
fine.
knows she knows how much you'll whine. She's like, oh,
That-
I'll stop. I'll just put up with it.
All right. Well, don't project your marital issues onto me.
I don't have any.
Oh yeah. All right. Fine. The next Taco Tuesday pick is yours.
There we go.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
Okay, so someone who did something really awesome, and it wasn't on a Tuesday with tacos, was Lisa.
Yes, I did. Something I do every year. But we spent, by we, I mean myself and my sons, and some friends, we spent our day yesterday at the Motor City ComicCon. And we go every year. It's fairly close to my home. Don't stalk me. And we had a great time. There were some pretty interesting celebrities there this year. I would say one of the best highlights, actually, of the show for me was talking to some of the artists. There was some really good art there this year. I bought quite a few things, and I have a whole slew of cards from people who I will share with our group on Facebook and on our podcast page so that you can check them out as well. But it was a great show. There were quite a few people from The Walking Dead there this year. We had the guy who plays King Ezekiel. We had Jesus, if you watch The Walking Dead.
Oh yeah.
His luscious hair.
Luscious.
We had Ross Marquand.
Marquand.
He was there. Who else? We had one other person.
It was Herschel.
No, there
Yeah,
was
Herschel.
Herschel too. It was I can't think of his name. Blonde.
Oh,
hair,
I do. It's
Negan's
Dwight.
right-hand man.
Dwight.
Thank you.
Yep.
He was there as well. And that was great. So we had all those. Will Wheaton was there and did panels. I know he's doing a panel today that I have a friend who's attending right now. He had a huge line, too, and a huge beard as well.
Yes, he's very beardy in his old age.
Yep. Michael Rooker was there, obviously, so you had like the Yondu joy, but also because he was on The Walking Dead. Rooker's line was like nonstop. And the other highlight for me, John Barrowman and Billie Piper from Doctor Who were both there. And Billie Piper had canceled last year, so it was kind of a big deal that she attended this year. We were kind of all patiently waiting for her to cancel at the last minute. I think she canceled on Friday. Like on the Friday the show started last year.
That's the worst.
That's rough. And not to put her down, there could have been a legit reason, but still.
No, I'm sure, but they did signings and photo opportunities with them as a duo, in addition to separate. And if you've ever met John Barrowman, who plays Captain Jack Harkness, at a con, he's one of the nicest, most fun, game for anything kind of guys. And my buddy Brian had a picture taken with both of them and his son. So that was
Very
kind of the
cool
highlight of
picture.
con for
Yeah.
him. And I met John Barrowman and had him sign my TARDIS last year, so I didn't do it this year, but he's got brown hair again, too, because he had just recently gone gray. I don't know if you saw pictures of him. And he signed my friend's son's Dark Archer figure from Arrow, so I thought that was great. So they were all there. There were some other great highlights. One of the things I thought was so great was that Jason David Frank of Power Ranger fame, who I think is known, Todd, you were saying, as being a pretty swell guy.
He's awesome.
Yep, my nephew, who's 14, went to see him and stood in line, and he grabbed my nephew's phone and made an Instagram video for him.
Oh, that's
My
awesome.
nephew-
Wow.
Unasked. So my nephew's going to be the coolest kid in school, right? He pretty much
Nice.
hijacked his phone and put a personal message on Instagram for him. And then to make matters even better, Lou Ferrigno, who was in the booth right next to him, came over and then jumped into the video as well.
Oh my goodness.
Cool.
So
Awesome.
it made my nephew's day, and just the kind of thing that just only happens to my nephew because he's a very charming kid.
Yeah.
So that was that, and what else? So I talked to a ton of artists and creators, and it was a very busy show. I feel like the show grows every year. It's gotten so big that you literally can't walk in the building. Like, you can't move.
Wow.
It's very overwhelming. And it was great fun. We go every year, and it's always a blast. And I would say that this year was probably better than the last two, for us anyway. So it was fun.
Well,
Definitely recommend it.
I'll tell you this, next year we're definitely April and I are planning on attending with you. So it's going to be even better with Charlie in the house. That's all I'm saying.
Well,
Count on it.
Brian and my friend Oz both attended. Oh, you know who else was there? They had Weird Science. All three of the people from Weird Science. Anthony the other guy whose name escapes me.
Yeah. That nobody's ever seen it since. Except
was
for
isn't that
and
like...
Layla Brock, she was there as well. And they did a panel.
When you talk about, do you remember from Seinfeld, the three tenors and the other guy?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
But they did a panel. I'm not sure what kind of questions people asked in the Weird Science panel, but they were all there. Anthony Michael Hall also apparently was a really good guy and was fabulous to everybody. So, it was fun. The cosplay this year was pretty great. I think I shared a picture online, but I can always post it again. There were a handful, maybe 2 or 3, of Yondu Mary Poppins mashups.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
One in particular,
nice.
I tweeted, and the guy responsible for the costume, if he is listening, tweeted us back and took a
I saw.
ownership of his costume. He was great, and he was
That's
in character.
awesome.
It was even better. There were a couple female Mary Poppins meets Yondus, too. And there was even a tiny little, toddler all Yondu'd out.
Aw.
I saw a
terrific.
toddler girl, Negan.
Oh,
Wow.
Ooh.
It's
Wow.
really interesting, because I have to believe she has no idea what she's dressed as, I hope.
Yeah, that's dark.
That's like a nightmare. Little children.
Yeah.
Yeah, murders children.
Negan was last year's Deadpool. Last year at Motor City ComicCon, there were a bazillion Deadpools. I think because of the movie and everything else. This year, I felt like every time I turned my head, there was another Negan. There was a whole family dressed as Negans. There were Negans of all ages. There were Negans of both genders. There were so many Negans.
Negan.
Charlie,
Yeah.
don't ever do that again.
Yes.
Oh,
Don't ever do that again.
I don't understand what you're talking about.
Yes.
So, lots of Negans.
I mean, I could see Negan being easy because it's basically a jean jacket with a little scarf and a bat. That's really all it is.
Leather jacket, not a jean jacket.
Yeah, leather jacket, but that's all it is. So I can see it being easy. I love the cosplay where they do the mashups and they do interesting things with that because the original cosplay is fantastic. I love that.
Yeah, there were some really cool ones. I don't know if you saw, I also posted a picture. The Darth Maul Trooper.
That's cool. That
was
cool.
amazing. Really well done. There is a Stormtrooper Samurai that's incredible. He was in the costume, or he or she, I don't know who's under the costume, they did a contest on Saturday. There are some really, really good ones. I saw quite a few people dressed as Eleven from Stranger Things, too.
So shaved head in a bad,
Box Eggos?
bad dress?
They're mostly men dressed as her, actually.
Yeah.
Oh.
Shaved head with a really ugly dress.
That sounds about right.
Dress, blue, members-only jacket.
They're probably,
Socks.
junkies from down Detroit, I'm sure. They just bust them in.
Yep.
It's possible. So, we saw some really good ones. Quite a few Rick and Morty costumes as well.
Oh.
Oh?
A lot. I was surprised. And, it's just great fun. I love cons. My next one this year will be Fan Expo, so in Toronto. So I'm pretty excited. My kids had a really good time. Everybody, the best thing about a con, if you've never been, is that people are so friendly and welcoming, and it really is like everybody's there to let their geek flag fly, and so it's a good time for that reason. There's not a lot of strife or drama. everybody's friendly and welcoming. You know, people who are wearing the same costume high five each other. My son was dressed as Sans from Undertale, which most people over the age of maybe 15 won't even know what that is.
No chance.
Yeah, it's a game, an online game that is 8-bit, which is, you know, all the rage with kids these days. And it's basically a skeleton who wears a hoodie, a blue hoodie, and shorts and house slippers. And there were quite a few other Sans at the show, and so every time a kid dressed as Sans walked by him, you know, he'd get a high five or fist bump, and they love it. You know, they love that people are recognizing their same interests, right?
That's cool.
Totally.
You know, I give those cosplayers all of the props, even if they're doing like a Negan like that, because it's hot. Those shows are so, I mean, the temperature, it feels like it's always like 15 degrees warmer.
Unbelievable,
so
yeah.
You're warm, but imagine those people in those like stormtrooper costumes, the big costumes. They've got to be miserable, but they're having a fun time and they're doing something for free for our enjoyment. How awesome is that?
Mm-hmm. Oh, there was a guy dressed as Groot. There was a full-on, 7-foot-tall, on stilts, foam bark Groot. He had to be not only hot, but I mean, on stilts all day, I can't even. And some of these women that cosplay in sky-high heels, I don't know how they do that all day.
There is a guy, his name is Alex Westcott, he lives in Lansing, that does our local show as a fully formed Groot. The guy makes his own costumes. I don't believe it was him because I think he got married yesterday. If I'm not mistaken, it was definitely this weekend. But if you see a Groot that shows around Michigan, it's very often my friend Alex, because that is his passion, is making his Groot costume and improving it and going to shows. So quite a character. Yeah, Todd, when we do Wizard Chicago in August, I doubt I'll have my Starfleet uniform. I got away with wearing it to our local show because it's in October. Because you're right, it's not as hot. I don't think I'd be able. It gets super duper hot, you know, at that show that you and I go to. So I'll be sporting the T-shirt. That's about all I can handle.
Yeah, and I'm cool with that. I do not intend to ever dress up because I'm just there for the spectacle. I'm not part of the spectacle. So.
Right. Well, the people watching at any con is fabulous.
Fantastic.
Not just for cosplay, just in general. It's great. And, you know, there's some cool things you can score. I certainly looked around. I tend to buy art more than I buy, and, you know, doodads more than I buy anything else. I don't buy comics at this point just because I have a kind of ban on physical media, just like I don't buy DVDs. I don't buy anything that's, like, going to take up space in my house, right? In terms of media, I mean. I'm all digital. Books, everything. And some of the artists that I talked to were so nice and friendly and welcoming and took time to talk to my kids. We bought prints from a guy named Terry Huddleston, and I'll have to post his link. His work was really cool. He does like a lot of doubles and trios, so many, you know, you can get a print that's got multiple characters from video games. He had a Punch-Out print that I thought was super cool with Mike Tyson. Lots of Nintendo stuff. There was another artist whose work I think I posted to our group yesterday who did a Super Smash Brothers print that I thought was phenomenal. She had a very unique style, very Japanese, but like kind of bright and fun. And she also did a Studio Ghibli print that was phenomenal. You know, where she just incorporates everything into one picture. Andrew Heath, I don't know if you know Andrew Heath. I have quite a few of his prints, and he's been at the show every year. His work is amazing, covers movies, video games, TV. I know he has an Etsy shop. Super nice guy. Who else? Oh, another huge highlight for me, a guy that I went to high school with, a former friend from high school, who also was in art classes with me back then. Was exhibiting at the Motor City ComicCon for the first time. He no longer lives in Michigan, but he drove in, and you know, it's super cool to do your hometown con, right?
Yeah,
right.
And he wrote a children's book and has been publishing some other art and all pop culture related art prints, T-shirts, etc. So he was there. So I gave him a big hug and wished him a great show. We'll post his link as well. Perfect. And it was great, you know, to be able to support these people and buy cool art for my house that doesn't look like, you know, a poster from GameStop is good fun. And my kids at this point, you know, have some really cool video game based art in their rooms that's not generic, you know. So, but I found that usually the creators are some of the nicest people, the most welcoming, and it was fun. We had a good time.
That's my favorite part too.
Maybe we can rook Todd into coming back to Motor City. Todd and I went to Motor City in 1997. And that may have been one of perhaps 2 times that I've ever gone to that show. Even during the time that I lived in Detroit, I lived in Detroit for 8 years after college. I never went. I don't know why. I don't.
Was it
I don't
pretty
know why
small back then?
Oh yeah, I can't remember. I don't remember where it was actually at.
Same. It was in the same spot.
Is it?
I don't think so, because the Novi Expo Center doesn't exist anymore.
Or wasn't the Novi Expo Center pretty much in the same? The one that's right on 96, where 96 and 696 split.
Now it's the Suburban Collection Showplace, which hasn't been around that long, and
that is or is not where it is.
That is where it is, and it's massive.
It's the same spot. It's just bigger.
We waited an hour in line just to get into the building.
Yeah,
wow.
Well, that was our local con when it was in its first year in a way too small location. We also waited an hour to get in, which is they've gone to 2 larger locations in the 2 years that followed. So yeah, Comic-Cons are it. They're hot like hotcakes. It's a hot take.
Yeah, and Minneapolis Comic-Con was this weekend as well. Did not get a chance to go. They do 2 days in the spring, and then they do a mini-con in the fall, which is kind of nice. And they do it theirs at the Minnesota State Fairgrounds, which is actually kind of cool because it's an actual set facility because the State Fair of Minnesota is the biggest in the nation. And they have all these buildings that just wouldn't go unused, so people use them, and as the con grows, they can go to bigger and bigger buildings. So it's fantastic. The fact that Minneapolis gets, not only this, but they get Wizard World, and then they have a million other cons too, for anything that you're interested in. So it's awesome.
I just looked it up, and last year they did 55,000 attendance. It's a 300,000 square foot building, so they did 55,000. Obviously, they don't have numbers for this year yet because the show is still going on today. So it's more than doubled in size in the last couple of years.
Cool.
That is awesome. Well, good. Yeah, count on come hell or high water. We'll be there with you next year because I ready for a return to Motor City ComicCon. I'm excited.
It's pretty fun. I think a lot of it depends on the guests, but.
Yeah, but if they have this kind of momentum, they're going to continue to have great guests. So
yeah,
very exciting.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you, Lisa, and share the love, post all you want, and share some links. And obviously, we would like to get in contact with some of these creators in the future and do some interviews with them. That'd be awesome.
Absolutely. Yep.
Cool.
Gotcha.
Awesome.
Cool.
Well, I think that takes us out of the Yacht Rock. Tip well, or they may not let us back in, or they'll just spit in our drinks, which is not a good thing. So be kind. Share the wealth. So as we leave the GeekEasy, Charlie, I think that wraps up this week's episode. So take us home.
Flippity flop and floppity flip. Friends, as always, thank you for joining us. We are a side project, a spin-off, a gallstone of the... That'd be funny if you're listening to what we were talking about in between. A gallstone of the Secret Friends podcast page and Facebook community. Find us over on Twitter at Secret Friends U. Send us a Twitter Tratter or a Twitter bomb, and we'll Twitter bomb you right back again. As always, feel free to pop us over a note at the old funky mailbag, secretfriendsunite@gmail.com. Send us a note. Tell us what you're geeking out about. Tell us if you love us or if you hate us. We'll read it on the podcast. And also take a peek at our sometimes updated YouTube page to see our lovely faces as we do this podcast. Thank you, friends. Yet again, I'm going to tell you that sharing is caring and to keep on trucking.
Be the hero, not the villain.
Be the villain. It's way more fun.
Secret Friends, unite!